Well, howdy, friends and neighbors. It's a Monday night and an interesting one at that. We have a ton to talk about. We're going to get all the way into it. Appreciate you guys taking the time. If you're new to the channel, this is what I call a fun time on a championship weekend. We're going to talk Chiefs. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk coaches. I hope that you enjoy this, and I'll be right with you. This is RGR Football. Welcome back, Chiefs Kingdom. I hope you guys are ready. This is going to be kind of a fun night. We're going to scream through all kinds of questions now that we finally know who the Chiefs' opponent is going to be. I have the headphones on tonight. We'll see if Dan can make it here. If not, we're going to go through your questions one by one, but I want to start with the fact that thank you for being here. I know the national championship game is about to start. I have it on over there in the corner in case anything earth-shattering happens. I know there are a lot of ways that you can spend your Monday night, especially here when we don't have a specific game to go over, but I appreciate you being here. For all you members, it's nice to see all of you in here. We're going to get to everybody's questions. If you're new to the channel, click the like and the thumb and the thing and the business sub, do the whole 9 yards, because we're always doing something around here. We don't have stats to go over, so we're going to have some different things this week. It's going to be kind of fun, and we're going to try to throw it on its head here a little bit and give you a couple of little things. We're also going to look ahead to this Browns matchup, which is really, really boiling, but I want to start. And Stevie, you said it here. And folks, I've just jumped into the chat where it is. I've been running a little bit behind yet. So if there's any super chats or anything, Aaron, would you let me know? I want to make sure that I get those covered. If you do want to support the channel, hit the super chat, leave us whatever you want to leave us, but please leave us a question as well. Same thing with the super sticker. You can always do that too. And honestly, the best way to help us, if you want to help the channel grow, is hit the RGR store, because we got some cool things over there, and that helps us the most. Other than you being here, which I'm very happy to see. For you members, we have member Zoom tomorrow night for all pros and elites. So we'll get into that, and you'll get an invite tomorrow, and we'll do that one. And everybody, all the other members, you can see that on replay here in a couple of days. So that said, lot to go over. Doug Peterson got let go, and I want to start there real quickly before we get into all the questions, just because I thought they were going to give him a little bit more time. It seemed like the fact that it's a week removed and that he had a plan, I thought they were going to give him a little bit more time. Clearly, it came down to Doug or Carson, and I think that the organization made their decision, in my mind. Clearly not wanting to revamp everything. He looked like he wanted to promote from within rather than bring in an outside talent on the coaching staff. I think that probably kind of sealed it. And the fact is, when the decision had to be made for the quarterback or the coach, that's what you're getting. I think the guy that I feel the worst for is Jalen Hurts, because it seems like the organization is bound and determined to keep Carson at the forefront. And I think Hurts has earned his time. I don't think they'll trade him either. I think they're going to stick him as a quality backup and not let him go anywhere. Doug Peterson's going to get a job. It's going to be fast. I think he's going to rise right to the top of the list for a number of organizations. And so it leaves Jalen kind of the odd guy out, right? That said, the thing that bothers me is that immediately was Mike Kafka that got brought up as a replacement. Not Eric Bieniemy, who's already got plenty of suitors, but Kafka in particular. Like, I was hoping that he wouldn't get the attention, that they could keep him, get him to OC, let him call some plays as well, kind of keep him in the pipeline, so to speak. So that was a little bit discouraging, but we'll see what actually happens. There's still a lot to go on. Let's see. The first question that I am seeing, I'm just going to start from the beginning, is JS. Welcome to all the members and all of your regulars. I see tons of your names. I don't even have the time to go through them all because you're all here. So I'm just going to start where I jumped in the chat, and that's from JS. If you asked a question before and I didn't get to see it, just ask it again, and I will get back around to it. Who's available on the offensive line? We haven't gotten any updates yet, so we don't know about Remmers. We don't know about Mitch Schwartz. At this point, don't hold your breath for Mitch Schwartz. I don't think it's going to happen, you guys. I think we would have heard inklings about it if it was going to happen. So I'm just saying, don't be too disappointed, because I really don't think that it's coming. That said, we'll wait to see who else is back and ready. I think they're going to be okay. And I feel like Week 17 got some good reps for some other guys. Robin, thank you. A member question. Appreciate the membership. Since it's the Cleveland Browns coming to Arrowhead, are you worried about us overlooking them? No, this is a playoff game. This is honestly what the culmination of the Chiefs season has been aimed at this whole time. So I really do not expect that whatsoever. I am certain that the staff has been preparing for all the possible opponents. And I think that they're going to be okay with this one. Andy off the bye and all that kind of stuff. We can talk about that later tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow I will talk about it with Matt Derrick on Locked On Chiefs. So you guys can check out the podcast there on Amazon or Spotify or Apple iTunes, whatever you want to do. Next, should we consider getting Doug Peterson the OC if it happens like Mike Kafka leaves? They should consider it just because of the continuity, and I don't think that there's that. I can't remember. I want to say no. Doug was gone by the time Patrick came in. They might have had some contact in the recruiting in the scouting process. I really don't know. But quite frankly, if Eric Bieniemy and Mike Kafka leave, they'd have to go for an upgrade. So Kafka would have to be an OC or higher, right? I don't think Doug's going to come back. I think he's going to get another shot as a head coach. So I don't expect that. And even if he did, no disrespect to Andy, but I don't think he wants to come back underneath Andy's umbrella. You know what I mean? He's struck out. He is his own guy at this point. I don't think he would want to come back as an OC, but that's just my thought. And Aaron Todd, I appreciate your comment earlier. I did see that, or my wife saw it anyway. Yeah, I don't know why there's always one thumbs down on this channel. It seems no matter what I say, when I say it, there's always a thumbs down. So I think there's one Raider fan that likes to stalk me. Let's see. Other questions here. Folks, if you are new, throw some question marks at the beginning of your question. Helps me find them a whole lot easier out of here and makes me not have to rely on Aaron. And I know that is a huge ask, Aaron. But Ian asks, not actually a question, but I want to say they protect, they attack, but most importantly, they run it back. Knock on wood. I like that. I don't know why you have a problem with K's, but I think that would, okay, that's fine. Whatever, bro. Andy, this is scary. No, that's not happening unless it's like pink and frilly and would fit around my hand for somebody's girlfriend. So thanks, bud. I'm not even going to say those words out loud. Cody Ashmore, did you see the Frank's tweet about the mood going into the game, aka the storm's coming? I did not see that. It's been an up and down couple of days, so I am a bit behind, I would say. But hey, I certainly hope so. I do feel like Frank's been kind of gearing up. I think he's been kind of laying low. I think Frank has known ever since his struggles last season to where he had to turn it on. I think Frank has felt like, hey, I'm going to be playing 17, 18, 19 game seasons from here on out as long as I have this quarterback. So a little bit of conservation of his energy, of his output, that kind of thing. That's kind of what I felt like. And I'm sorry, you guys, I never put up the banner, and I tried to do that so that people on rewatch realize when it was alive or not. So yeah, let me do that. Then we'll come back here. Morbian, how are you, bud? Personally would like to see the Chiefs step on the gas on both sides of the ball and not let up until the game ends. I would love that too. That's not Andy's MO though, man. Is Hitch clear to play this game? Yes. Hitch is back in the building today. He is cleared. Mike Dana is back in the building. He is cleared. And they re-signed Marcus Kemp to the practice squad. So because of the way it all turned out with the Dolphins being out and that kind of thing, Marcus is essentially a free agent, so he can come back now. So that gives you a little more oomph on the special teams thing, and I think that's good. Scott, I don't think so. I don't think that we're going to see him in this postseason. He just isn't ready. I'm still hopeful he won't retire, but I can't even rule that out. And now Andy's a member. Thanks, Andy. And I appreciate the question there, bud. Gary Holland, doesn't the Browns defense have real problems like with offenses like the Chiefs? They've had a number of problems. Their secondaries has been a little bit porous. And quite frankly, they haven't been generating the pressure in general without Vernon. And you guys heard me talk about Garrett last week. Like, it's not – Dan and I had different takes on what we feel about Garrett. He could certainly prove me wrong, but I just don't feel that he's a guy that's going to take over a team, especially against Eric Fisher. Eric's rested. He should be back. His back should be better. Let's knock on wood. If we hear anything this week about Eric Fisher's back not being all the way back, then we can be concerned. But in the meantime, I feel pretty good about that. Garrett's going to get his, but I don't feel it's going to be like a game destroyer like we saw Nick Bosa last year in the Super Bowl on Fish. So I'm really confident in him. So let's see. I guess my question has been, sorry, Andrew, thank you for your question. What can be done about the offensive line conundrum? Is Patrick responsible for all the free runners or whiffs or stunts and linebacker blitzes? He's responsible for some of them. There are some miscommunications that we've seen on the line back and forth as different guys have shifted into the lineup. I think the bigger concern is not the pass rush. I feel like he's settled down on his deep drops. You saw some analysts here on YouTube, as well as talking heads on Twitter and that kind of thing, that are still concerned about Patrick dropping all the way out the back of the pocket. He has really regulated that in the last half of the season. So like they're a little bit out of date on that concern. It is a concern, but we haven't seen him do it to great effect in the last few weeks. I think it is more of a concern that he has to be able to not do what we saw against the Falcons and continue to press downfield, continue to try to go deep when it's just not there. They have to move the ball in the meantime and not worry about forcing their weird. They have to do a little bit better job of taking what is there to begin with, and then they can take their shots and force those when they have them. Jaylen is playing. Thanks for hot and spicy. I haven't been paying attention, but I'm glad you brought that up. You guys know, I think you guys know, Jaylen Waddle is up there in my top two with Jamar Chase, and Devontae Smith is actually below him on my board right now. That's just from what I've watched live. So let's keep that where it is for now. Dan and I will be reviewing all the wide receiver class, which seems to be at least 25 deep as far as I can see right now. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity to add more firepower to this Chiefs offense. I think it's going to be a later round pick, but I do think that they will add a wide receiver in the draft. Stevie, you heard Orlovsky connected to Philly as a coach. I think that's really interesting. I don't know that he has coaching experience. I'd be really interested to see what his background on that. I've never really dove into it. As a quarterback or an OC, I could definitely see that rather than as a head coach, but that's just me. LDT announced he is coming back, by the way. I didn't see that either. Thanks, Spicy. You're like my personal newsreel here. I appreciate that. I have been pretty busy at work, so it's been one of those days, you guys. Braden, thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Morbin, your thoughts on Baker versus Mahomes matchup? It's not a matchup. They're not in the same league. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of folks are Baker fans. I think Baker's matured. I give him credit for maturing his game, and he certainly has played better the last, say, 6 weeks. But he's not Pat Mahomes. I mean, that's the difference is Pat Mahomes versus their defense. Where is that relative to Baker against the Chiefs defense? And I have to give the Chiefs defense a little bit more credit than I give the Browns defense. They certainly played great last night, came up with a lot of picks and that kind of thing. I think that was more about Ben than about them personally. So we'll see how that plays out. And, we're going to go over the film of that game and previous games for the Browns. And the problem is it's against that Steelers offense. So it's a little difficult to get a fresh read on it and something that will really apply to Patrick's game. But we will get there, and we'll let you guys know later in the week for sure. We'll have content for you all week long, just like always, you guys. And if I haven't said it enough, we're going to have draft content. And from the day the Chiefs are out of the playoffs, hopefully after the Super Bowl the next morning, we will have draft content up until the draft. We'll cover free agents, the whole 9 yards. This is 24/7, 365. We are always paying attention, so we will have stuff for you. Kevin Pipp, how are you? Any thoughts on LDT stating his plans to return for 2020? I'm glad to hear it, and I really respect his decision to go be a physician and do his part for his country in Canada and try to keep them safe and deal with this pandemic. I hope that the vaccines, definitely allow that to happen. I'm glad to see that he's focused on it and he's saying it now so that he can continue to train and get back there. I'll be very interested to see the kind of shape that he comes back in, and I think OTAs are going to be very important for just getting some of that timing back and that kind of thing. But I am very optimistic for his return to the offensive line. What single season addition will have the biggest impact? Whew. That's a very good question. Addition, so meaning that they weren't on the roster week one, or do you mean the off season? I would say if you're talking in season, I think it's going to come down to Lev Bell or Wisniewski. If you're talking about, off-season addition, I think it's going to be Snead. I think Snead is what gives them the edge and being able to do some of the things that Spags wants to do, especially against when you see the Bills, when you see some of the more passing offenses. When they get to see an NFC team, whether it's the Saints or the Packers or whatever, Steve's going to be a big, big part of whether they can be successful or not. No news announced yet, Scott, on CEH. We expect to see that tomorrow, hopefully, if not by Wednesday for certain. Aaron, thank you. Oh, Tyler, thank you. How do you see the Browns defense stacked up against the Chiefs offense after seeing their performance on Sunday? Again, I thought their interior defensive line played really good. I have a little bit more confidence in the Chiefs being able to handle some of that with Patrick and his mobility. I think the offensive line in general, particularly, if it's up to me, I would start Kilgore and I would start Wiz and I would run it at him and tire him out first. I don't think that's what the Chiefs will do. I think it will be Ryder. And so I think as long as they work together, I think they have a chance of A, slowing them, but B, Patrick's mobility will take over and he will have opportunities outside of the pocket for sure. Okay, 88 Flexing, you saw the same thing about LDT. That's great. Maximo, thoughts on you think the Chiefs are going to stop the run? That's going to be the trigger. There's two things that I think are going to be the prime matchups. Three things. I think Snead is going to be on Jarvis quite a bit because I think they'll run Jarvis out of the slot, and that's kind of their go-to guy. Hooper had a good game. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do that. That's going to be a matchup, and it's going to be about coming downhill. If Willie's not on the field and Neiman's not on the field, with Hitch back, you have Wilson. I think and don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be like hot take guy. I think there's a legitimate reason to put Colin Saunders on the active roster, even though he only played week 17. He's been inactive the rest of the time because he gives you depth at DT. And if you have to stop the run, if they're going to load up and run the ball at you, double tight fullback down your throat, put Colin out there. I think his film as a linebacker was purely emergency, but this team misses Reggie Ragland right now to be able to stop that run. And I think if you're going to have Pinnell and you're going to have Noddy, why not have Colin? I am totally serious about that. I can't say that he'll play a ton of snaps, but you put him out there on first down. If they're going to try to run at you, I will take that all day, every day. Sorry, got a little fired up about that one, Maximo. Why doesn't Andy like big body receivers like Thomas and Allen? And do you believe that jump ball possession? I don't think Andy likes the percentage in jump balls, period. I think he wants separation. He used to use some of those guys. They drafted J.U. Chesson like that. They had Freddie back in the day in Philly. He's had big slots even because he wanted possession receivers. It's just the game right now with all the advantages that you have as a wide receiver and all the ticky-tack calls that you get in not only holding but interference as well. Why not just run speed? And I think that's what it comes down to for him. Aaron, thank you for getting me Tyler's, by the way. I appreciate that. And that brings us to Gooch. Member number one. How are you, Gooch? EB says he's not leaving unless he finds the perfect job. My thoughts are he's waiting for Denver. I don't argue with you at all. I think that would be the perfect job for him, to tell you the truth. And everyone that I know in Denver, and there are a lot, from radio guys to TV guys to Cody over on Locked On Broncos, who does an excellent job. They all tell me that I'm wrong, that Vic isn't going to go anywhere. I am holding out that I will put it to you this way. If a GM comes in who just doesn't want to give up on Drew Lock, he may want to change to an offensive-minded coach. Nothing against Vic. Vic is a great defensive coordinator, and he's done okay as a head coach. But I don't see them, even with Pat Shurmur, having enough there to develop Drew Lock unless you make a switch. And so that could still happen. Everyone tells me I'm crazy and it's a super long shot. Hey, well, this is the way that it goes. So I'm with you, Gooch. And if he holds out and you get him an extra year, I'm okay with that. Hey, what a nice bonus, right? I think Atlanta is real though, so I'm not convinced. Ian, what are your top 5 specific positions that need to be addressed in the offseason? You got to get guard depth. You got to get linebacker that can play in the next couple of seasons. I'm sorry, not in the next couple of seasons. They can play after his rookie year. I think the safety position is getting a little bit worrisome. I think Juan will continue to rehab. I think Juan in 2021 in the season will be back to where he was in 2019. I'm not discounting where he's at now, but I think that progression will come. But I think you need safety depth. Not sure about Armani. Dan's like 31, I think, come season, and he's going to be expensive. I don't know that he's on the roster next year. I've said that before, and you never know. So that said, they're definitely going to bring in a wide receiver as well. And quite frankly, I don't see anything in the tight end class that tells me they got to go get drafted, but you never know. If they find somebody they like, they will go do it. Okay, I am falling way behind, so I'm going to go faster here. Stack Bundles, how are you? Willie and Clyde's health. No updates yet. We should find out tomorrow. I appreciate the super chat and the membership, but I will let you guys know as soon as possible. And again, I don't have the normal things to go over this week, so we will change it up, and I'll have some different kind of content for you. Gooch, thank you very much. Let's all go rogue. Gary, what college player would you want the Chiefs to draft with their number 1 pick? He's playing right now, and if he falls that far, which I certainly hope that he does, is Jaylen Waddle. I think he's a game changer. I think he's another guy in the Tyreek kind of vein. That's just one off the top of my head, and just because he's on TV right now. So I'm impressed that he came back and he played in this game. There are a lot of guys that would say, I'm going to be a star in the NFL. Why would I even come play this game? So credit to him. Let's see. Pono, how are you? Aloha out there. How do you feel the slow down the two-headed monster of Chubb and Hunt? You got to do it. You have to sell out to do it. That has to be part of your game plan. They were able to do that against King Henry last year. And Henry is a serious back. Chubb has very similar power, not quite as much, but Chubb has more speed. And you guys have heard me say on Locked On NFL, on Locked On Chiefs, Chubb's the best back in the league, period, because he can do it all. I think actually, though, that can be done because they proved they could do it with Derrick Henry last year. I think the bigger matchup problem is the linebackers on Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt has an axe to grind, whatever. It seems that he's making it personal. I don't think anybody on the Chiefs roster thinks it's personal, but he does. And quite frankly, they don't have the matchup for him. So I think he is going to have a big game, particularly in the passing game. So that's something to be said. It is what it is. Ian, let's talk. Let's say Watkins decides to leave because of money. Should they consider bringing back Chris Conley? I don't think Chris can play in this offense the way it is now. Again, if they were going to go for those jump balls, Chris would be the guy, but they never did, and that's why he left. That's why they let him leave, because he just doesn't fit in what they want to do. I'm a big Chris Conley fan, though. You guys know that. Row the Boat asks, sorry, I missed you as well. What are the best and worst position matchups for Chiefs against Cleveland? The best is going to be Kelsey against their linebackers. The worst is probably going to be Hunt against the Chiefs linebackers. I feel like the Chiefs secondary has better depth deep. I think the corners are going to be interesting. I think Sammy on Denzel Ward, if he comes back, is going to be something that you can exploit. Scott Mays, your reaction to Kareem calling the game personal? Couldn't care less. Like I said, he thinks it's personal. Chiefs roster does not. Kevin Pippin, thank you very much. Thoughts on Kareem staying in the same game against? Yeah, okay. So yeah, we're all there. And there's Dan. How are you, bud?
Good. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're good. We're trying not to get too deep into Kareem's attitude, but we're going there.
Okay.
Yeah. Ian Connis, is Joe Thuney a legit option? I don't think so. Because I think he's going to get the contract that he deserves, and that is not going to fit into the Chiefs' plans.
I agree with that. It's going to be way too much money, and considering where they are in the draft, and hopefully Andy Reid decides that he wants to go a little bit different with his philosophy of developing guys that are undrafted and 6th-round draft picks, then we should be seeing an influx of talent at the interior offensive line, most hopefully the center position.
Oh, we'll cross our fingers. Guys, I forgot to say this tonight. Big shout out to Spencer. My first try of their Monk's India Pale Ale. This is a beautiful beer.
Oh, that's cool.
Belgian and IPA all in one.
That's impressive.
Yeah, right. Gooch, I appreciate that. I don't know who gives the first thumbs down, but I get one every video, no matter what I do. So, which blitz packages would you utilize against the Browns? Quite frankly, I would try not to unless I didn't get home in the first quarter.
Yeah.
When I did, I'd walk Tyron up on the slot receiver and send him day after day after day.
It should be interesting to see what they do, because I don't think Baker reads the field particularly well if they don't have the run game going, and he's very good outside the pocket and moving and bootleg and stuff like that. So if you're going to keep him in the pocket and force him to actually read the field, that's probably your best option.
Yeah, I think you're right. Ruthless. No, there'll be no trading for Ward or Juju. There's absolutely no reason. Juju is like the third receiver on this team. Let's see. Hey, wait, you disagree?
I said I don't even know about that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Would you want free agents or do you want the Chiefs to re-sign next year? I'd love to see Sammy Kim back. I think he's open to it. Who else? I said it on the show today on Locked On Chiefs. This team misses Reggie Ragland like that right now.
Right,
he's gonna be a free agent. He's gonna be cheap as sin. Bring him back.
That and Osemele, assuming he can play.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot Osemele was a 1 year, right? So yeah, they would need to re-sign him. That's a very good point. Aaron Todd, did you hear? Yep, we got that one. I'm really glad to see it. Oh, Ian, bring in John Ross. I don't think so, man.
A worse McCole Hardman? No thanks.
That's one way to put it, that's for sure. Ryan White, when Big Ben ran tempo and used quick passes, he ate Cleveland's defense up. Do you anticipate the no huddle thing? I expect more RPOs. Again, something that hits quickly, but I don't think they want to run up tempo. I think Patrick's going to be Patrick, and we're going to see some frustration in him standing in the pocket waiting to try to go deep. I hope that they would just take what's there and hit it fast and hard early, but you never know.
You know, the thing about what happened with last night, the Browns got up 28-0 in a hurry. Like they were playing prevent defense like all night and just trying to keep everyone in front of them. That's why you see them go so up tempo so quick, because they could just get the ball out and didn't have to really do much to get underneath routes and stuff like that. So it'll be a little bit different if they're playing from behind, which I anticipate them doing.
Yeah, I do as well. Farmer, I agree with you completely. And I think that's just the perception of you as the individual that's holding a grudge that still tells me you haven't gotten back in touch with reality and you still have something that's just out there. Like I said, Kareem Hunt thinks it's personal. Nobody on the Chiefs roster does.
Now, if you listen to his press conference about talking about some of the players that they have in contact and stuff like that, that's really what the headline should be. But since he had an emotional response after winning a big game like that, that's exactly what you're going to get. And that's what all the taglines want. But even if a little bit of you believes that there's something wrong, that's what's going to come out with your emotional response. It's just what it is.
Yeah. Canadian Chief, I'm sure you are close to Buffalo. I like that. My feeling is they do beat Baltimore. Right now, I think they're a better whole team. Dan, do you disagree?
If the team that we just saw come out against the Colts comes to play, I think they lose that game. I think Lamar Jackson will beat them. One, because I don't think that their defense is good. I think that their defense is pretty mediocre, and I thought that Philip Rivers was doing stuff that I've never seen him do in the cold ever against that defense, which was air the ball out a little bit. But that's going to be an interesting matchup because I think the Ravens defense is getting a little bit healthier, a little bit better, and I think we saw that against the Titans. They really stopped the run extremely well. He held Henry to 40 yards on the ground. It was a very good effort from them. And the Bills are going to be, kind of facing what the Chiefs do. They came into the postseason hot, and a lot of people are going to want to take them down. So I think that's going to be a fun game to watch.
I agree completely. Casey Vess, Garrett is probably the premier one. Dan and I had different opinions on this the other night. Can they control him? I don't know if I'd say that. He's going to get his plays. He's going to make some plays. But I don't feel he's a game changer that he takes over or anything. It's not like Nick Bosa in the Super Bowl last year.
Now, it'll be a little bit different if they hold the ball a little bit longer. I think we saw that last night when Ben was getting the ball out extremely quick. That neutralizes the pass rush. Neither side had a sack last night, and you could tell they were just getting the ball out quick, and they knew what they wanted to do on both sides, trying to get the ball out quickly. So if that's what they want to do to kind of neutralize some of the pass rush, they probably will with the RPOs, and that's going to then also negate Garrett in a lot of their pass rush just because you don't know whether it's coming, the run or the quick game or the deep shot. So they're going to do a lot of that to change things up to really keep the defensive line under wraps, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's see. Answered that one. I think I answered that one. Ian, good question. I think it definitely is something that they feel he'll be available for camp. I don't know that improves the chances of Ward coming back, and I don't know that I would call that an improvement.
Yeah, I'm still thinking they're going to take a corner in the draft because you figure, especially because you probably aren't going to bring both Breland and Ward back with Baker, assuming you have him for camp. I don't think one of them comes back. Maybe both of them don't come back if they want to draft a guy. So especially if they feel that comfortable with Baker, in the defense and being fully healthy by the training camp time. I think they can let both of them walk, to be honest with you.
I'll take Breezy over Ward if it comes down to one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Chief Rocco, thanks for the super chat, bud. Appreciate it. Is Bieniemy better off staying as head coach and waiting like McDaniels? It depends on what your goal is, because I don't think Andy's going to go anywhere for at least 3-4 seasons, maybe a little bit more. So if he's patient and that's okay with him, sure. I think he'll inherit, a system that he can step in and run from day one. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, it's an interesting position, because I think that Reed just signed that extension. Like, he just signed it either this season or the end of the season. That's what they're going to be doing. And I think it's better for Bieniemy to go get a head coaching job. I know he's being a little bit pickier right now, and I think he has every right to be a little picky, considering what's been going on in the NFL. A lot of teams, some issues here and there. Doug Peterson just lost his job. That's probably more of the GM than Doug Peterson, I think. But again, you want a situation where that doesn't happen to you. And I totally understand wanting to be picky about where you go. And that's why I think the Falcons have so far, because that's one of the interviews that I've seen him have, where they said that he did a really good job and he came out with a strong interview. So that's something that I'm looking at right now. And you can always have an option of coming back like that to an offensive coordinator job if you want. But I think that he's better off just going and being a head coach. I think he's going to be successful in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Scott Mesa, they're not nearly high enough. I'll tell you that about Surtain. Kansas Carliner, no, Pat is not a viable free agent.
I feel like we answer that question every week.
We answer it every year because he keeps screwing around like he's going to leave the Cardinals, and he never will.
No, I'll be a career Cardinal.
Blaze Medved, unless I said that wrong. Sorry. I think Hunt is trying to say that he's got a grudge against the organization. It has nothing to do with the fans. Don't worry about it. Let's see what else. Who's in here? Ryan, I got your question. Why are they not saying that Josh Allen is as good or better than Patrick? Because he's got the arm, and quite frankly, he's not making the mistakes that he used to make. That's my opinion.
It's because he's hot right now. Patrick Mahomes finished the season kind of on a downer in terms of that game against the Falcons, which they really laid an egg. And a lot of people see what Josh Allen has done, taking an unprecedented jump in his third year from a quarterback that was around 60% of his completion percentage. Right now, he's on his fourth straight game of over 70 completion percentages. Like, he's doing something that has almost never been done before in terms of that much improvement over the course of one offseason. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now, and it's unfolding. And you look at the teams they played, and there's a reason for that completion percentage, I think.
Yeah. Thanks, Knicks, man. Appreciate it. Can Chiefs get over their slow starts? No, that's who they are. Scott, we talked about Willie Gay. Guys, I'm not trying to cut you short. I'm way behind on all these questions. I want to make sure we get to everybody. So I'm just trying to run through them. Ian, you have a good point. Snead was out for that Bills contest. That was a weather thing where they had to run more, but I agree with you. I don't think the Bills are that big of a threat. I think they're better than they were when the Chiefs saw them, but I'm not terribly concerned either.
No, I think they can hang with them in a shootout. So I actually see them as a legitimate threat.
Okay, fair enough. I think if you take away Diggs, then you're going to be in pretty good shape. Pip. Sorry, Kevin. I call everybody named Pip and Pip. My own fault. Yeah, fullback role. I'd love that. I can't. We're not going to spend time on that because I'll just start slobbering at the mouth. Gooch, thank you very much as usual. My worry is the Cleveland O-line is filled with all pros instead of Chris can get pressure. Well, and Batonio should be back, so that's going to be a boon for them. But they lost their tackle. Why is his name slipping my mind right now?
I just had it too, and it's gone out of my head.
Oh, dang. But, I mean, everybody has some things. Honestly, I love Joe Batonio. He's still a top 3 guard on the athletic matrix for all left guards in the league, and he's been in the league 6 years. It's almost unheard of to maintain that level. Chris can still beat the snot out of him. I'm sorry. It's just Chris Jones is Chris Jones. If you're not Aaron Donald, you want to be Chris Jones.
Yeah, you've got a rookie on the left side and Jedrick Wills, and then your right tackle, who's day-to-day, I believe. So he could actually end up playing this week, and I think he probably will. It's just kind of how it is. So it'll be interesting, I'll tell you that much.
That's for sure. Hot and spicy, I always start on the outside. Corners and wideouts is where I begin. Dan?
I actually just started interior offensive line today. So
rock and roll. We're starting on different ends. I like that. Gary, I think I'm going to reserve my judgment until I know what the linebacker crew is going to be.
It's not going to be very good, guys. I'll tell you that right now. Especially Chubb.
I was trying not to say that.
He's going to run wild. Just because the scheme they run, the offensive line's built to do this, it's not going to be what we saw last year against Henry. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to outflank the Chiefs on defense with the run game. Chris
Pete, thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think he'll come here. He may be a UF. Is he actually completely available? I think he said after that turning point that he wants to play with Kyler and he wants to be there. I think he might go back on a cheap deal, I'll tell you the truth.
After this season, I would think so.
But I mean, honestly, if he's willing to play cheap and you're not going to bring back Ward and Breland, I mean, that's a slight upgrade. Patrick is not what he was 2 seasons ago, folks, but it is a slight upgrade. And Dan's not going to argue with me on that one. Okay, I thought you might. Stack. I heard today that there'll be no combine. Have you heard that? I've heard that from 2 people that I trust that are in the scouting community. I've also heard from 4 or 5 that think that it will happen, but it won't be centralized. It could be regionalized because they have those regionals anyway, or it could just be a lot more spread out where they just come in, they do the testing, non-televised, non-that, get them in, get them out, get them in smaller groups so you don't have that COVID risk.
Yeah, I've heard just nothing but speculation on both sides. So
yeah, we'll know when we know. Look for Senior Bowl week to give us a clue. Ryan White, do you anticipate Andy throwing things out that we haven't seen? Yeah, oh yeah, he's got something in reserve. I guarantee it.
You got an entire playbook, guys.
It's like that.
It's probably that thing about things that he hasn't even needed to go to his playbook much this season.
Let's see. Greg, if Kafka goes and Alex Smith retires, would you make him a quarterback's coach in a heartbeat? I do feel that Patrick and he have the type of relationship where that could actually work.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Crazy as Luke quickly.
I think he's done.
Conning people out of retirement is not a good plan for your future, guys. That doesn't help.
Especially guys that are concussion prone.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. Got stacks. I want to make sure I get everybody who's contributed. Nipper Girl, thank you very much. I'm sure you'll ask a question later. I'm glad that. Oh
no.
Ron 314. He walked off limping. Dang. That's a tough one. It's a high ankle sprain that went with that broken bone. I'm not worried about the bone. It'll set.
Yeah.
If he has a more severe high ankle sprain, they have to look at that. But this might not be that bad. That might drop him down into draftable range.
I don't think it's going to drop him down.
Dang it, Dan. Come on.
You just got to trust the tape and take him where you take him. That's what.
All right.
If he drops, they're going to take him in a heartbeat.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, if Ruggs had gotten there, Ruggs would be a Kansas City Chief right now.
Yeah, it would.
So I think the same will be true of Devontae, of Chase, of Waddle.
I tell you right now,
it's going to drop.
Top 10, guys. Smith's going top 10.
I think he might actually go over Smith, to tell you the truth.
Waddle's not going over Smith. Not after what he just did.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Especially after Joe Burrow went last year going over what he did. Smith's going to go as the first wide receiver off the board.
Okay, works for me. Each remaining player says Stevie. I'm not sure where you're going with this one. Would you take from each team and add to our current roster? If you could steal a player, that's an interesting question. I like the way that you come up with stuff, but it makes me think that hurts. If I could steal one player, I would take Trey White from the Bills. I would take Devin White from the Bucks. Help me out,
White for sure. I'll probably go. Levante David over White in a heartbeat.
Older though.
Don't care.
Couple of seasons is all that's left.
Don't care.
Okay, all right, fine. This is why we don't run teams, folks. We can't agree. And the other AFC teams, I mean, the best player in Cleveland, honestly, is either Bitonio or Ogunjobi, in my opinion, for fitting into Kansas City.
Yeah, I'd probably get Mitch Force back up here. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, let's not even go there.
Just to fill in because he's going to be able to play center.
Croc, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. We've addressed this over and over. I'm sure you've heard it. I know I'm way behind, so thanks for the super chat, and I'm not trying to blow you off. Let's see. Who else? Who's got one in here? Ian, you've had a lot of good ones tonight. Does Watkins and Clark emerge in the playoffs? Yes, they're both waiting. Sure. Gooch, as always. Aha, Dan, the Shermanator hater. Hey,
I'm here for you.
Would you put Sherman linebacker if you have to?
Yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I think he can do it. How worried are you about the Browns will run the ball and not give Mahomes a chance to score a lot? I mean, that's the concern. The backs are honestly the thing that concerns me the most. You got to stop. You go ahead. You're
I was
going
going to say, so if they're going to run all over us anyway, just let them score easy. Just turn it into a shootout. You're going to get your stops eventually. Their defense is going to have to stop Mahomes. That's something I'm not worried about.
Yeah. If a second or first round center is in the draft, I haven't done any breakdowns yet.
Yeah. Josh Myers, guys, that's the name to watch. I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
He's actually playing right now. He's a center for Ohio State.
Oh, I'll look at that. And folks, we'll wrap up on time tonight so we can all go watch that. 500 folks in the chat tonight. Hey, that's pretty good for a non-game week.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that, you guys. Steve Concepcion, no way in a frozen hell should Tim Ward be starting opposite Clark.
Not right now, no.
No. But another season, and quite frankly, OTAs where he can get the attention from the coaches that he needs, I think he could be a player down the line.
Definitely. He's got all the potential, I think.
Okay. What the Chiefs do the running back group with Damian Williams coming back? Damian Williams will slide into Lev's spot. CH will be the starter, and we'll go on like nothing happened.
Just like it was supposed to be.
Right? Yeah. That was the plan to begin with, and it's all adaptation, right? Do you see Hardman a Chief after next year? I actually do.
I don't.
Okay. I think that they can get him back cheap, and that's the thing that makes the determination for me.
You probably get him back cheap, but you want to see progression. And unless he all of a sudden becomes like a 1,000-yard receiver next year, I don't think it's going to happen.
They haven't need to see progression from D-Rob. Why are they going to demand it from McCole?
He can block. McCole can't block.
Okay, there is that. Dang it. Jacob, I haven't looked at Tony yet. I don't think Dan has either. We will definitely cover all the wide receivers. Tony's in the top 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Tony, I'm sorry. Who?
Kadarius?
Oh, yes. Tony is 100%. I told you I would draft him as high as 20. I believe he's a phenomenal talent.
Float pool. I don't know if you're a Cleveland fan. They can go do that, and I'll be just fine with that. They'll lose by 20.
Exactly. I'm fine with that.
Saying Santa, crazy thought to no.
Yeah, we got this one.
Yeah, sorry. I'm repeating, guys, and I know I'm behind. It's my fault, so I apologize for this. Would you take Nick Bolton out of Missouri, the linebacker? No. Gooch, again. Dude, you're on fire. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
They went up 28-0 on mistakes. Mahomes doesn't have to make those mistakes. Absolutely. Steelers still put up 35. Absolutely. I don't care about the empty calories. Oh, you're like, dude, you remind me of me. I gotta manage this. I gotta manage empty calories. But you're absolutely right. Without those mistakes, they don't win that game. I put that more on Ben than I put it on the Cleveland defense.
Yeah, they jumped on him early because they knew what they were going to do. That they pressed hard on practice to get those hands on the quick passes that come out really low, and they showed up all in the first quarter. They were doing it all night, just right then. So yeah, that's exactly what they did. They just jumped on them.
Yeah, Scott, if this turns into a shootout between Mayfield and Mahomes wins going away.
Yeah, it's not close, guys.
and no disrespect to Higgins and Peoples-Jones. I think they've made nice progressions as those
Landry for that matter,
but they're not Hardman. They're not Sammy freaking Watkins. Okay. I mean, it's just not even close. I mean, and honestly, the kid that I still like from last year's draft, I don't know if you saw Chase Claypool tonight, but he thinks the Chiefs are just going to clap him. Like it's not going to be close in his opinion. And I tend to agree.
He also thought he was going to win that game last night. So
why you got to be all sensible and stuff on me?
I mean, it's just what I'm saying.
Santana, no, they're not getting Kuechly out of retirement. Kuechly, whatever. I always say that wrong. Right? And it's my fault for clicking on it. Stack, what's going on with Deshaun? Any chance he gets traded? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, he can do what Ngakoue did and just not show up. And you can have $30 million not showing up to camp and not showing up anywhere. At the end of the day, the player has the drive. If he wants to walk away from his contract, he won't get anything. Have to pay back his signing bonus proration. But yeah, he can get out of there. And that's what I think will happen.
I hope so. He needs to get out of there for sure.
Oh, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm just scrolling through here, guys. Make sure I get all the super chats.
If you guys want to see a real showdown, to make sure he goes to Miami.
Oof.
That'd be a fun AFC matchup for the next 10 years.
The only thing that scares me is that Belichick will be like, I'll give you my first round picks. I'll give you my second round picks.
I don't think Belichick has any clue what to do with the draft picks anyway. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, he'll give them away. Yeah. I know Deshaun Watson can play. I'll go get him. Him and McMinney can go figure stuff out. I'm not against him hiring Matt Moore either. I know Matt Moore's only coached high school so far, Scott, but yeah, I think that could be. I mean, at this point, he is basically a coach and a film scout for them. It's not like he's playing reps. I'm with you there. Shajit, what's the position group do you think they'll improve? They need to improve in the playoffs. It's clearly the linebackers, in my opinion.
No, it's the offensive line.
Yeah,
They're going to go as far as the offensive line takes them because they can win games. The linebacker crew they had, they did it last year, and I would think that it's not as good as it is now. So,
okay, fair enough. Natalie, I'm glad you're doing all right in Louisville, and don't worry about being late. Good to see you too. Glad you made it. Thanks for the super chat as always. Let's see, Conklin. You're absolutely right, Ryan. It was Conklin that I was all forgetting about because I knew it was a
Titan. I forgot the name.
Right. I mean, it's amazing that they got him out of there, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Ryan, Jarvis did eat from the slot. That's where he made his big place, and that's why I do expect Snead to be on him.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel comfortable with it because Snead, for the first time in probably 3-4 seasons, Snead has been a rookie for the Chiefs that doesn't play like a rookie.
Exactly. And you're going to have to worry about your outside guys, but at the end of the day, you let them actually play man coverage and play up on these physical younger receivers, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, watch out for the jump ball because Peoples-Jones can sky.
Exactly. They could just throw him up a couple times if they see Ward on him. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, for sure. Knicks fan, how are you? Back from before. Appreciate the super chat. Super Bowl for us is what I want. Only person I was cheering for was Rivers to get one. Yeah, you are unique, my friend.
Yeah,
for somebody who follows the Chiefs to be cheering for Philip Rivers, but I am happy to see him ride off into the sunset with his 17 children. Row that boat and get on down the road.
He should be retiring like tomorrow, like very, very soon.
Dude, like
you guys watched that Hail Mary? You see that Hail Mary at the end of last game? Like that was he fell at the 5-yard line. Like he was at the over the 50.
Dude, the ducks were be like, well, that's not even a duck, bro. Oh,
it was bad.
Chad Johnson, thank you very much. Appreciate the super chat. I'm guessing you have a question down below, but if not, come back and ask us one. Canadian Chief, top CFL projects. Alaric Jackson, I've actually heard his name. Would they be worth a late round pick? Certainly. It all depends on whether you're athletic and you're strong enough. That's what it comes down to.
Yep. I don't know much about it, but why not take a shot? Hey, Andy Reid's known to do that.
Let's see. Yes, I know you guys. My optimism on Waddle is a little bit out of hand. I get it. You're not
We're
wrong.
allowed to have guys we like, okay?
Yeah, right. Do they think Pringle will get a bigger role in the offense Sunday? I hope so. I don't know, but they
should.
Yeah, exactly. We both would have it that way.
Yeah.
But if I'm calling offensive plays, something's drastically wrong because I can't do that.
Yeah, we don't want to see 4 tight ends on the field and a fullback.
Dive left, off tackle right. I mean, come on. This is what we do. Gooch, thank you again. We talk about the run game and Snead on Jarvis. Who runs with Njoku? Probably spelled wrong. No, actually, you did pretty good there. I think there's just no E. That's the question. Without Willie, you're going to try to hit him with Hitch or you're going to walk Dan down is my guess.
I would imagine so. So that's so much fun. They're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets, Njoku and Hooper, and that's going to be another thing they can attack pretty regularly.
And the good thing is, like, Hooper seems to be, like, especially last night, he was getting the looks over Njoku, and the Chiefs can run with him, so I'm not that worried about him. Has he? Okay.
Yeah, he's been the clear 1 tight end all season.
Who will be the star of this game? Who do you think has the best matchup?
Oh, Tyreek Hill's going to just torch these guys. Even if they play deep, he's going to torch them.
Yeah, I think they're going to play cover 4, though. I think they're going to give him 2 deep all day.
Get him in the seams. Put him in the slot. Get him anywhere.
I get that. I just think there'll be more opportunities for Travis. I'll take Kels.
I mean, they're both going over 100 yards. It doesn't matter. They're both going to have their day. At
the end of the day, Dan and I can argue all we want. Whose side is Dan on?
I'm on my own side.
Yes. He is Canadian. I mean, Switzerland. That's what we call it. Not Canada. Sorry, Canadians.
Not Canada.
I like Canada. Let's see. Do you expect the Browns to have a hangover from such a shocking? I actually do. I think emotionally it's hard for them to get back up after that. Smashing your division rival to get into the playoffs and then knocking them back out back to back. I think that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough to play a team 3 times in one season, and they just absolutely came out with everything they had. Let's be honest. They came out with every single thing they had and put up over 40 points. That's something that they're not going to be able to replicate. I just don't believe it.
No, I agree with you completely. I think it's going to be. I think the Chiefs are going to have the advantage, just putting it nicely. Ian, I'm glad you made it. Don't worry about being late. It's your life. We're just here. Did last night add the rust versus the rest argument? Andy does well out of a bye, makes me nervous. I don't worry about rust on this team. Andy will, A, have them focused. B, I think the rest was much more important for this team this year than it was, say, last year. And I think this team all season has been focused on these next 3 games, whether it's Frank, Tyron, Patrick, certainly, but the whole team has been focused on this postseason run.
I'd be very shocked if they came out and were just like, we're not playing for the first quarter. If we see what happened against the Texans last year, if they do that again this year, then that's just who they are. They don't want to play in the first quarter of a playoff game. They just want to get behind and let them go. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think they're going to come out much sharper.
I don't think it's even that they want to. I think honestly, I think it's just like, oh, we don't have to until we feel it. And then when they feel it, they're able to rise to the occasion. The question is, can you do that over and over and still be able to do it?
Probably not.
That's what comes in. Vox Romantic, glad you made it. Thanks for the super chat. Late coming in. Which of the wounded offensive linemen is available after some downtime? I think Remmers should be available myself. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, he should. I think he should be good to go back to normal. Let's hope so.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I know folks are holding out for Mitch Schwartz. I don't expect to see him, you guys.
He's not going to play the rest of the year, guys. I really don't think he's going to.
It hurts me to say that, but I don't think so. Ian, another one. Thanks, buddy. Does Spags brew exotic blitzes disguises in the playoffs? Yes. All remaining quarterbacks for the AFC are under 25. It seems to confuse the younger quarterbacks. Yes. Yes. And the key is here. Can you keep the guys that are good at disguising on the field? Because if you have to put Watson and you can't have Thornhill out here, that changes some things. If you have to take Snead out for some reason, that changes what you can do with Tyron. And so it really is about not giving it away, in my opinion.
Yeah, it should be fun. That's a really good point. A lot of these guys don't really do well under those kind of situations. And I think that you kind of saw that a little bit throughout the season with some of the younger quarterbacks that played and Josh Allen as well. So it should be fun. Dan
Fatal or Faal. I don't know. Is that a Polynesian name? I don't know. 400-pound right tackle is a beast. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go watch this game. Good thing that I'm recording. Well, and thank you. 10? Well, and thank you, ESPN, because I'm recording 17 different angles of it, so I don't have to go hunt for the all 22 of this game.
Yeah, I'll need that too.
Let's see. How much rust do you think they'll have for 2 weeks? I'm not worried about it.
I think some players probably will. I don't think everybody will.
It'll be there, I think, but I'm definitely not worried about it. Let's see. Where are we? Question. Scott. Do we know if Lucas Niang is keeping his body right? We have absolutely no idea, man.
No idea.
I'm hoping that Andy Heck does, and they've had some kind of contact, but I don't bank on it.
I feel like they've had to. That seems very unorthodox if they were just like, yeah, whatever, do what you want.
Donald Rump, I think you're in the wrong chat, bud. Denzel Ward is not going to shut down Tyreek Hill. He'll have some good reps. He's not going to shut down Tyreek. He can't run with him.
There's only one corner in the NFL that has a legitimate shot at that, and it's Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. And even Jalen admits now that he's more than just a punt returner. Who in the Chiefs will see in the AFC Championship? I think it's Bills. What do you think?
Yeah, right now I say it's the Bills. It really depends on what team shows up, but I think that the Bills are a better team than the Ravens.
Bob, where do these monsters come from? Country strong, man. They're out there somewhere. That's all I'm going to say.
There's corn-fed Iowa beef over here.
Right? Hey, it's everywhere. Aaron, thanks for pointing that out. 565, that's pretty good for, a non-game week, you guys. Thank you for spreading the word. We appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to have I'm going to have at least one video that's a little bit different because there's no stats to go over this week. We're both going to look at some tape. We'll have some cool stuff for you that's not quite our normal stuff, but we'll have content every day of the week. Gooch, as always, I'm starting to feel like I have to give you my next born child or something, man. which is good because I'm not going to have any. Baker has the greatest success rolling right, but struggles rolling left. Why haven't teams tried getting pressure from that side? I mean, honestly, that's quite frankly normal for a right-handed quarterback. Patrick and Aaron Rodgers are unique. You don't see Drew Brees rolling left and throwing right. And that's the question. I think that is
going anywhere.
well, that's a whole other story. But that's a good point. Overload blitzes in the B gap on the left side are a key spot. But I think that's why you have an all-pro guard in Batonio over that kind of negates that aspect. So then I think you have to be a little more interesting. You have to be a little more exotic. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, it all comes back to the A gap for me. You can either slam Chris in there, you can try to get somebody else to run it off the D-line, but I would send 5 guys all day long and one of them through the A-gap every time.
They pretty much have to. They're going to have to get to Baker like pretty quickly. They're going to want to get the ball out quick, I would imagine. That's what they wanted to do against the Steelers, and I think that's what they're going to want to continue to do because it's when Baker holds the ball, that's when he's not good. When he's forced to do things outside of his comfort zone besides rolling and getting the ball out quick and his first, second read, if you make him do more than that, that's when you're going to throw interception. That's where he's going to get sacked. That's where he's going to fumble it. That's what you got to do.
It is. And Gooch, I didn't realize it was this.
Wow.
9 in a night.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm glad that we get your time. Let me put it that way. I hope that we make it worth it. I know Dan does. I'm a little worried about myself, but hey, it is what it is. I'll keep working, man.
The reason I'm here, so I mean, people do like it,
right? Right. You allow me to keep Dan. How's that? Do you think Mahomes gets snubbed for the MVP? I won't call it snubbed. I think he finishes second, but yeah, I do think Rodgers is going to get it.
Yeah, it's definitely not snubbed. I just think that's how statistics work, and I think there's even a chance that Josh Allen might garner some of those votes as well. Now that'll be an interesting conversation.
Well, honestly, I think he'll get a couple of votes too. I think Derrick Henry might too, and that all takes away from Patrick being able to keep up with Aaron. So, let's see, Ian. After watching the Ravens and Titans game, see the Titans put up a 300-pound defensive player on the tight end fullback thing. Can we please Saunders in there? Yes, please.
Yeah, please, just anywhere. I don't care where, except the offensive line.
Can I have Saunders at the H-back with Chris Jones running out of the Wildcat?
Oh my gosh, do it, please.
I know, right? Like,
please.
Hey, I mean,
I even get Wharton as running back. Put Wharton back there as running back.
Oh.
He's athletic enough to do it.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
You could pitch him. Good God. Andy, if you need a run game consultant, I'm available. I'm just saying, I will make myself available. Mariaco TM, is that a trademark? That's great. Do you talk about the Chiefs injury updates, Sammy, Gay, Wilson, and all that? Generally we would, but we don't have any updates. Their practice week hasn't started yet, so when we do, we'll let you know, and we'll definitely have.
We got is Hitch and Dana activated off the COVID list.
Right, and Marcus Kemp come back on the practice squad. We do have the game plan video. For those of you that are new, the game plan video goes up on Fridays, and we'll have any update that we have from there available then. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Ryan Carr, how are you? Do you believe the playoff Sammy narrative? Yes, absolutely. Do you expect a different level of player than this time? Once again, I do.
That's who he is, guys. He's here because of playoff Sammy. Like, just if you watch the games, the guy just shows up and is clutch in ball postseason games. He does something every single game that just makes you go like, wow, that guy's. There's a reason that he used to be, a top 5 pick. But he's got all the skills. Unfortunately, his body does not allow him to stay healthy for a 16-game season anymore.
Yeah, and hey, I'll take prime Sammy 3 games. No worries.
You tell me, I'll do it all. I'll do it for the rest of his career.
Yeah, right. Sammy, you can take the first 2 months off. Yeah. I'm all good with that.
Fine by me.
Ian, Baker's really good when he doesn't turn the ball over. True. Yeah. Play action's bread and butter. True. Do we sell it to stop the run? Yes. And help versus the play action, or do we just or do we do that versus Buffalo? Buffalo lost Moss. I like Singletary, but I don't feel. I think the only run game thing in Buffalo that scares me is Allen himself.
He's their run offense. Like that's what it is. Their running backs aren't very good. They also just don't run the ball very well. Yeah. Their offensive line is not built to run the football, much like the Chiefs' offensive line in that regard, especially because they've turned to the whole passing first on first down kind of thing now. So they've really gone to what the Chiefs have done and just thrown the ball like crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ryan White, high-priced tight end Hooper was dropping everything last night. Was he really? I didn't notice that live.
I didn't notice it live either, but
usually we don't cover the tight ends well. Does this scare me at all? Not Hooper, but I think Njoku is a more athletic threat.
Njoku's barely used.
Yeah. You never know. That's like the perfect time to really stress him. I don't know. What do you think of the top prospect for the Chiefs in the upcoming draft? Top prospect, top fit that you've seen so far?
I do think it's Josh Myers. I've seen a couple games of him, and the Chiefs need a center. I think this is the guy that can actually come in. He had an injury this past season, but he's come back and he's played well against Clemson last week, and now he's playing right now against Alabama, the center for Ohio State. So I think that's a guy that they're probably he's going to be high on their board. But if you see wide receivers start falling, guys, especially if they don't bring Sammy back, like a lot of it hinges on Sammy. If he comes back, that drops wide receiver down the list to rounds 3 and 4. So that's really what we're looking at. I think Josh Myers is a perfect fit.
I mean, the reason that I talk about Waddle is because I think he is such a great fit. If he got there, it'd be great. If not, who's the kid from Purdue? Rondale?
Rondale Moore, yeah.
I think he could be a good fit as well. I like his thickness. I like Pat Surtain because I like the way he plays. I am a little bit skeptical of Alabama DBs, but it is what it is. I don't. You have to remember, or I have to remember, you have to scout the player, not the helmet, because I myself can get trapped into too many things about worrying about those things that aren't necessarily relevant. I don't think Pat Surtain's missed but like one game in his college career.
Yeah.
So, that alleviates some of my concerns. Chiefs offense just swap places for a game. Who would be at QB and would Mahomes be at CB? No, he'd be at safety. He'd be center field and he would pick passes off.
That's pretty much all he can do, I think. Just hope, get him 15, 20 yards off the ball and just let him see it because he sees the field well. So,
and I have a feeling personally that if they had to get a quarterback out of there, it might be Jones.
I would say so, but I would love me some Colin Saunders, Wildcat quarterback, being able to throw it, juke people out. That's what I'm going for right there.
I do love that idea, man. So I'm just going to start a new season in Madden, and I'm just going to switch everybody.
There you go.
It'll be beautiful. Malik, thank you for the super chat. Think Spags will have Baker seeing ghosts with exotic looks. I think he will definitely do that. I don't think it's going to be as much as everybody thinks, though.
Yeah.
I think he's going to pick and choose a little bit, kind of lull him to sleep a little bit, and then hit him with something different.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of the run game. Like, that's what they're going to want to do against the Chiefs is run the football. So the exotic looks will be hard to see, especially because if you're trying to stop the run, a lot of times you're just going to have to fill your run gaps and get guys up at the line of scrimmage. So we might see some stacked boxes early on that change into more exotic looks later.
Yeah. Knicks fan, thank you again. I thought Brady always had it easy out of the AFC East. I agree with you. These young quarterbacks now are changing that for the East. I think it would have been a tougher go if he had to play some of these young kids.
I think Josh Allen would have took him to him this year. I really think he would have.
Yeah, I'm right there. Tyler, Browns O-line seemed to have a lot of injuries last night. Do you think that helps the Chiefs D? Yeah, anytime you can degrade the value of an offensive line across from you, it's going to help. It just depends on who it is.
Yeah, we're just going to have to hope that the front four can get home when they just rush 4. That's going to be the key, I think. If you're forced to blitz all night, you're gonna start seeing some issues, I think.
Does Sorensen have a breakout game, or who do you see having a breakout game?
So I'm going to say that Dan Sorensen does what he does. He's like playoff Sammy. Dan Sorensen's like playoff Sorensen, but he's going to take a step up a little bit, but he's not going to be an all-around great defensive player. And this is going to be, I really think that this is Frank Clark's coming out party for the season. Like, they were waiting all year for the playoffs to start. Like, it was just, you could see it on the field, guys. You could see they were not really trying that hard. I think that this is where you're going to see him not only get a couple tackle for losses in the run game, but you're going to see him all over Baker Mayfield.
I think Dan will be solid, but I don't think this is his game to shine. I think Snead gets one on Baker because Baker's going to force feed Jarvis.
That'd be awesome. I would love to see a couple corner blitzes get home. That'd be great.
Yeah. JT Moore, we have no idea yet. We'll get announcements here in the next day or two about what that chart's going to look like. Gooch, again, that's number 10. You're driving me crazy, man. I'm starting to feel guilty over here, but thank you. Morse is going to be out of his contract. No concussions from this year. Reunion if the price is right. That price has got to be right.
Yeah, we're talking like $1 to $2 million, right? It's got to be low.
Yeah, I love Mitch, and I think the concussion issue is the reason he's not in Kansas City anymore. And if he were willing to do it, I think they would welcome him back. But I think he's going to get plenty of contract offers above that.
For sure.
Let's see. I think we're just about done, you guys. I know we're over here. Let's get Ian's last one. Who do you fear the most out of the NFC if we win the AFC Championship? Do you think the Rams are flying under the radar?
So the Rams, I don't think are flying under the radar. I think that their defense is legit, but it's Jared Goff. That's all really I got to say about that. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback that you don't want to face, but at the same time, Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers would be one of the greatest Super Bowls that we've seen in the last 20 years, guys.
I'm actually looking forward to that because I think Aaron and Devontae and Tyreek and Patrick are the best two duos in the league. I'm more scared of the Saints. So that should tell you about how I feel about the Chiefs' chances to win a championship. No, that's what I'm saying. Like the Saints have the defense to match. They have Kamara in the run game. Like they can do it all, and the Chiefs still beat them. That's why I'm confident about the outcome of them getting and winning a Super Bowl. So that's it for us tonight, you guys. We got all the super chats. We got all your questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Dan.
Yeah, no problem, guys. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people in here tonight. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's a great time. Enjoy the rest of the championship game. We'll go watch it. We'll give you thoughts. We'll have film later. We'll have all the videos this week. We appreciate all of your time. Have a good one, and have pleasant thoughts for Mike Remmers, okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good week. We'll talk to you next time.